Stick around because we're going to be touring the inside, talking a little bit of galvanization process, a little bit more of the frame, and also a little bit about the tariffs. What is going on? Welcome back, Pack. This is Adbeel from WolfSteel Buildings, and today we're going to be touring our fabrication shop here in Weatherford, Texas. So if you've been watching us, you know that we have an office, or our office is headquartered in Fort Worth, Texas, but our fabrication shop for our tubular buildings is here in Weatherford. So stick around because we're going to be touring the inside, talking a little bit of galvanization process, a little bit more of the frame, and also a little bit about the tariffs. What is going on? Before we get to that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let's get this one going. Alrighty, Pack. Now, before we go inside, I want to tell you guys a little bit of our story. A lot of clients have been asking, hey, tell us a little bit more about, how did WolfSteel start, or what is WolfSteel all about? So let me give you guys a little background of me. So I've been in the metal building industry for about 15 years already, a little bit over than that, probably even more. But from what I remember, I've been doing it for quite a bit, and it's always been in the fabrication side. So it's a lot of the side of fabricating the metal buildings. That's it, nothing more. During that whole experience, I've always had clients had a bad experience overall with the process. Their permitting, which is challenging, they didn't understand. The grading, the concrete not done right for the metal building, spray foaming incorrectly or without warranties. There's a lot to that process that was out of our control, because as a metal building fabricator, you only do the metal building. You don't do the whole scope of the project. And that's how WolfSteel started. So WolfSteel started with that in mind. Like, we want to make the client have a great experience, and that's why we are a GC. We control the whole process from start to finish of that project. And then from there, we said, well, let's get our fab shop going now. So we got that in control. We got our fab shop in control, and that's what I want to show you guys. Hey, Anadela, come on inside and let's check out where all the magic happens. So yes, this is where all the magic happens, especially, this is more dedicated to our tubular metal buildings. This is where we fabricate all the frames, okay? And I'm gonna explain a little bit more. But before I go into that, I wanna talk about galvanized frames, okay? That's one of the things that I do love about tubular metal buildings, is that their frame already has a coating. So how does this process really work, okay? So steel, the enemy of steel is rust, okay? So most steel will rust unless you put a protective coating. So for tubular framing, this framing gets dipped into a hot zinc that you basically dip it kind of like chocolate covered strawberries. So you dip it into it, and it basically creates a coating, and that is zinc, which is a galvanization process. And this is extremely common, especially like in road signs. If you see this type of steel, or like the coating of it, you see it a lot on the roads. It's because they last a long time. That's why our 12 gauge comes with a 20-year warranty on rust, as well as our 14 gauge comes with a 5-year warranty on rust. So that's something that I do love about tubular buildings, especially is their frame. Keep in mind, most sheet metal that's out there in the marketplace is already also, the coils are also galvanized, and then they're painted with whatever paint that comes with your panel. So that's just something to understand about sheet metal in general.
Adbeel, can you talk to us a little bit about the scheduling process for these buildings?
Yeah, absolutely. So usually once your concrete is done, that's when you go into the building department. And once you go into the building department, our building team will send you our architectural plan, okay? And that architectural plan is all the details of how everything is going to be built. So we want to get a final confirmation to make sure that we're going to fabricate it correctly, okay? And so once you approve it, we start the fabrication side. And so the process is actually pretty interesting, because These are prefabricated metal buildings, so everything is already prefab before we get to the job site, not like our weld ducts. Our weld ducts we fabricate on site. There's a lot of modifications that can happen at the job site. But for our tubulars, no. Once you say, hey, that architectural plan is correct, that's good, that's it. No more changes. We can do some small, minor changes on site, but for most cases, that's what we're doing here. We're already fabricating the metal building specifically. For example, here we have some headers, and these headers already have the inserts of where the legs are going to be landing. So we can't move the overhead door openings. And especially since we do concrete, we do all the notching for your doors. And so those notches, once we pour that concrete, that's how it's gonna stay. That's one of the steps in the process that I wanna make sure that it's understood in that side. Now, usually we start the fabrication about 2 weeks before we actually go out and install. So
not at the time the customer places the order.
No, yeah, so usually you gotta go through all the permitting and then we do the concrete. We still don't start the fabrication of the metal building yet. We wait till the concrete is done to make sure there wasn't some notches that got moved or any adjustments that were done in the concrete side. But as soon as it arrives into building, we are already going into purchasing the raw materials, planning for it, our material order, and all that. So that's a great question. We do start the fabrication about 2 weeks before we actually go out to install. And then about a week before, once the frames have been fabricated, that's when we order the sheet metal and all the screws, specifically a lot of color screws, we're ordering as is needed per specific project.
So with the process being, as you explained, how does the loading or the scheduling work for the customer? What do they expect?
Yeah, so usually, so let's say a week before we let our clients know, hey, we can actually start your build on Monday, typically on a Monday or on a Thursday. And so...
why a Monday or a Thursday?
Why? Yeah, I can elaborate a little bit more. So based on, if our client says, yeah, I can do Monday or I can do Thursday, perfect, great. This is what's going on in the back end. In the back end, we're like, okay, great. So our client said, yes, let's get the sheet metal on schedule. And we get the sheet metal delivered here. We unload it here, as well as all our doors, windows, custom doors and windows. And we usually, if it's a Monday install, we're loading on a Friday or a Saturday early, bright in the morning. Typically an hour to 2 hour process for us. It's really quick. And we load up a truck, and hopefully their marketing help me out, show what kind of truck is going to be arriving at the job site. And now if it's on a Thursday install, then we usually load up on a Wednesday, the day before. And so that's typically the process. You're usually going to get scheduled on a Monday or a Thursday. Sometimes we fit them in or move around the schedule based on rain. There's a lot of delays because of rain, especially right now during this weather.
So with Monday and Thursdays being our typical start dates, what if a customer has a specific schedule?
Yeah, so a lot of times we can accommodate. So usually we like to ask our clients whenever we confirm the architectural plan, hey, is there a specific date or that you specifically want us to start? So we do make the effort, and especially if you have a little bit of a larger project, our scheduling works very well for that.
Does a customer need to be present on site?
That's a great question. For concrete, yes. For our concrete side, especially when we're setting the forms, because that location allows us to start, digging the trenches for the footings and all that, and we don't want to be moving that. For the building, not necessarily. That's why the architectural plan, because our teams are strictly, trained to follow the plans to the T. You do not change anything from the plans unless it's specifically necessary for integrity reasons. Then we can, we usually ask our client, hey, we're going to change this. Is this okay? Or what do you think? Because this is a situation that can happen if we don't make this small change that we only notice right here when we're on the job site. So specifically to answer your question, No, it's not necessary to be on site. However, it's always good that if you're on site, because if we do have any questions or as you're seeing something, sometimes what you're imagining in the plans or what you're seeing on the architectural plans might just change a little bit when you're starting to see it all come to life.
Adbeel, can you explain to us a little bit of what's going on in the background?
Absolutely. Come over here. Let's see where the magic is happening. Over here we have our bandsaw. This is where we cut a lot of their angles, a lot of our nippo inserts, we just do a lot of cutting with our bandsaw on this side of our fab shop. And then here we have a bender. So here's where we bend the peak of your trusses, okay? Of your rafters, your trusses, this is where we do the bend. And you can see here, this was a straight bar, and then we basically, and you'll see in the videos how it basically punctures it and bends it inside. We usually have our machine set up for a 312 pitch, which is our standard pitch. You can upgrade to a 412, 512, 612 pitch, and usually that carries an extra cost. And let me tell you guys why. So for any other pitch change, we have to adjust this machine. We have to adjust the inserts that we have to cut and make custom angles specifically for that specific pitch. So that's why there is an extra cost for going, 412, 512, and 612 pitches. So it's just because it changes the process just a little bit. So that's why the cost is not a lot, but it includes the labor and it includes the additional sheet metal and custom work that has to, materials that has to be done for that. As you can see right now, what you're seeing is actually a truss. So right now, those are the inserts. You come over here. So these are the inserts for our columns, okay? And so right now you're gonna be seeing that they're welding a double insert, and that's because this project's gonna have a double legs. So that's just kind of cool that we're seeing here. It's one of the things I really love about the fabrication side of the business is you're looking at architectural plans, you're looking at engineer plans, and you're bringing it to life. And all of that gets done here. So one of the beauties of tubular buildings that has allowed this industry to really scale and just really grow a lot is the fact that the fabrication is done here at the shop, and you fabricate quite a bit of projects, and then you go and just put it together at the job site. And that allows for checks and balances. Why? Because the fabrication, the pitches are already they're all calculated. Everything is calculated. There's no reason why it should be too deviated when you come to installing the building to make it plumb and square. There shouldn't be that much off because it's all calculated and prefabricated here. Compared to a weld up. A weld up, everything has to be fabricated on site. So all the angles, the adjustments are all done on site. So our builders there got to be really great fabricators and great installers. And in the tubular side, it's actually it's broken up into a piece. So here we fabricate it, and then our installers, they focus more on just building and installing the project. Alrighty, Pack, we're back at the Wolf Den, and I hope you enjoyed a little bit of our fabrication shop, a little bit of our tour there. I want to talk a little bit about the tariffs that's going on, okay? Although we focus on purchasing domestic and a lot of from local suppliers, most of our suppliers have all emailed us, and within the last week, we've gotten so many emails. Prices are gonna go up. So best time to buy is right now, whether you buy from us or you buy from anywhere else. Again, this YouTube channel is for anyone that wants to learn more about metal buildings. So prices are gonna go up. I usually am hanging out with a lot of people within the industry. It's gonna happen. So just keep that in mind. On the brighter news, we are giving away a hat, a really cool, nice hat, and we're gonna ship it out to whoever answers this question. What are the 2 frame, the gauge options that we offer for our tubular metal buildings, okay? Leave it in the comments and we will ship you this awesome, nice hat. Or I need to tighten it up for me, but you can see. We'll send this out to you. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, but also follow us on our Facebook and our Instagram and TikTok. If the government keeps it alive, follow us there because we're also sharing a lot of content there. And guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll see you guys on the next video.